So, have you heard the buzz? There's a real chance your 2026 tax refund could be surprisingly bigger this year. Today, we're going to dive into exactly what is going on and what's behind this potential windfall. I mean, seriously, what would you do with a bigger tax refund than you were planning for? For millions of Americans, that's not just a daydream, it's a very real possibility when you file in 2026. But hold on, it's not free money. It's all about a weird mismatch between new tax rules and some old withholding habits. Okay, first things first, let's get one thing straight. A tax refund is not a bonus or a gift from the government. Nope, it is your own money. It's the cash you overpaid in taxes all year long. You can kind of think of it as a zero-interest loan you gave to the IRS, and now they're just paying you back. So, the big question is, why is that loan you gave the government potentially so much bigger for so many people this year? Let's unpack this whole mystery. All right, here it is, the main reason in a nutshell. A brand new tax law was passed, but the system that takes money out of your paycheck every couple of weeks, your payroll withholding, well, it didn't quite get the memo. And that created a pretty big gap between what you paid and what you actually owed. This brings us to a situation I'm calling a law and a lag. It's really just a simple two-step story that explains everything that's happening right now. Okay, so step one, the law. Back in 2025, a major new tax law got passed. And the really important detail here is that it was retroactive. That means its tax cuts applied to the entire 2025 tax year, even the months that had already passed before the bill was even signed. And here is step two, the lag. Even with these new, lower tax rates on the books, the IRS didn't update the official withholding tables that your employer's payroll department uses. So for the whole year, companies just kept on taking out taxes at the old, higher rates. And here's what that looks like. See the tall bar on the left? That's all the money that was withheld from your paychecks. Now look at the shorter bar on the right. That's how much you actually owed under the new law. That big gap between the two, that's your overpayment, and it's all coming back to you in your refund. And listen, we're not talking about chump change here. The new law adds up to an estimated $144 billion tax cut in total. That's the entire pool of money that was basically overcollected from taxpayers all across the country. So, what does a huge number like that mean for you personally? Well, some experts are projecting that the average tax refund could jump by about $1,000. Now, of course, that's just an average. It's going to vary a lot depending on your income and how you file, but it gives you a real sense of the scale here. So, which specific changes in this big new law are actually putting more money into people's refunds? Let's pop the hood and take a closer look at what's really going on. The law packed in a whole bunch of changes for different people. For example, there are new deductions for workers who earn a lot of their income from tips and overtime. There's a brand new deduction for seniors over 65. And for folks living in high-tax states, the cap on the state and local tax deduction, the SALT deduction, was temporarily bumped way up. With all these different pieces in play, you're probably wondering, okay, but does this actually apply to me? Fair question. Let's pinpoint the groups who are most likely to see a real noticeable bump in their refund checks. So you'll probably feel the biggest impact if you fall into one of these buckets. Workers with a lot of tip or overtime income are definitely on the list. Seniors who qualify for that new deduction should pay close attention. And if you live in a place like New York or California and you itemize, that increased SALT cap could be a really big deal for you. All right, so you might be getting a bigger refund. That is awesome news. But, and there's always a but, actually getting that money might hit a few speed bumps this year. Let's talk about the practical side of this filing season. So here's the challenge. Right at the moment the IRS needs to handle all these complex new rules, the agency actually saw its workforce get cut by nearly 26% in the first half of 2025. That's a massive reduction in staff, right when they're needed the most. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The national taxpayer advocate, Erin Collins, put out a direct warning. She said these staffing cuts create, quote, risks to next year's filing season. And that can mean delays in processing returns and, getting those refunds out the door. Now, despite those potential challenges, the key dates are what they always are. The IRS officially kicked off the filing season on January 26th, and your deadline to file or request an extension is, as usual, April 15th, 2026. So once you've filed your return, the waiting game begins. The absolute best way to keep tabs on your money is to use the official Where's My Refund tool right on the IRS website. It's the most direct and accurate source of info you're going to get. And the tracker is super simple. It'll show you one of three basic stages. First, that your return was received. Second, that your refund has been approved. And finally, the best one, that your refund has been sent to your bank or is in the mail. And remember, e-filing and choosing direct deposit is always, always the fastest way to get through these steps. So let's zoom out for a second. Pumping all of this overpaid tax money back into people's bank accounts all at once is kind of like giving the economy a fiscal sugar rush. But what does that mean in the long run? Is it a smart way to get people spending again, or is it just a one-time boost that's kind of papering over bigger economic questions? It's definitely something to think about while you're tracking your refund this year.